Hi, Monarchs. Dr. Barry Griffiths, President at Valley College, joining you for another town hall. I have a few updates for you this week, including updates on stress, emergency withdrawals, EWs, Wi-Fi availability, Chromebooks, and Surface Go devices that are going to be available, winter and spring classes, and Valley face masks, free Valley face masks. Before we get started, at any time, go ahead and type questions that you might have into the chat. And after I do the updates, I'll answer as many questions as I can. First, with the updates. I want to begin talking about stress. It's normal at the end of the semester and during the holidays to experience a high degree of stress. But with the pandemic and the job changes that many people have faced, economic and financial changes, as we've been confronting social justice issues, the levels of stress I know have just reached really, really high levels. I want you all to know that we have different ways that we can provide some support to help you. Our website, lavc.edu website, under LAVC COVID-19 information and student updates, has a lot of information that might be available that ranges just from everyday things that you can do to manage stress through changes in diet and exercise to resources that are available to help address anxiety and depression that so many members of our community might be experiencing. Whether that's through resources like our health center or other resources through the county and different hotlines that are available. Please take a moment, take a look. There's a lot of great ideas on how we can manage stress. Like I said, all of us are experiencing a high degree of stress and anxiety at these times. So take a look at the different resources for ways that we can help manage that together. The next update that I'd like to provide is on EWs, excused withdrawals. We talked a lot about this in the spring semester, but haven't talked about it much lately. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that EWs were still available to students that are experiencing any challenges related to COVID-19. All you have to do is to email the Admissions and Records Office to let them know that you need to pursue an EW. I would encourage you, though, to contact a counselor before you applied for an excused withdrawal, an EW, to make sure that you're aware of any implications that it might have related to financial aid or transferring. It won't have much of an impact with most places that you might transfer, but the counseling department is really terrific at making sure that any impacts are known before you apply for the excused withdrawal. The next update that I have for you is related to Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi being available in Lot F on our parking lot. I know that many students sometimes have trouble accessing reliable Wi-Fi. And for that reason, we went ahead and made Wi-Fi available in Lot F for free to students. So you can take a look at our website for some additional details. We don't have any facilities that are open, so students will have to remain in their car while they access the Wi-Fi to make sure that everyone is safe. But for those of you who might need access to free, reliable Wi-Fi, you're welcome to use it in Lot F throughout finals week. And then at the start of the year, we're going to make Wi-Fi available to students on an ongoing basis in one of the parking lots. We're going to move the parking lot to be one of the ones along Burbank Boulevard, though. But until or through finals week this week, free Wi-Fi is available to students in Lot F. The next update that I have is in regards to Surface Go devices and Chromebooks. We have secured 1,100 additional Chromebooks and Surface Go devices free for students that are in need. I realize that many students who might have had access to a device, things might have changed, the device may have broken, and you may need access to continue to pursue your educational goals, continue taking classes here at Valley College. Or you might be a new student to Valley College and you didn't have access to the devices previously in the application. So we are going to make the application available for the devices again in the next week or so. The application will be available for several weeks, and we'll be gathering the information from students who might need a Chromebook or a Surface Go device so that we can get it out to students, to all of you before the start of the spring semester. Again, the devices are free, so anyone who has a need that's related to COVID-19 for a device, a need that's related to continue your taking classes here at Valley College online, please take a look for that link and complete an application. We'll do our best to get you a device before the start of the spring semester. The last update that I have, actually two more updates. One is just an update on winter and spring classes. Winter and spring classes will be available for the most part online, just like fall classes were. I know we're excited about the release of the vaccine that actually just started. To normal and having folks back on campus in large numbers. But until then, we have to continue to be safe, keep the campus community safe, and have most of the classes offered online, just as they were in this fall semester. We do have a few exceptions to the classes that are online, classes that have to meet in person. This includes classes like nursing, clinical labs and nursing simulation labs, respiratory therapy, simulation labs, emergency medical technician, and some manufacturing classes. So those classes will be in person. The rest of the classes that we're offering for winter and spring will continue to be online. The last update that I have for you relates to some free Valley College face masks. Look for some email updates coming from Valley College with a link on how to request a free Valley College face mask. We'll be happy to send one out to you. With that, let me check for some questions. There's a question from Charles that related to the science classes. I heard is it true that science classes are going to be modified or not? I'd like to know for sure. Also, what are the modifications and what will the modifications mean for the science classes? So science classes met online for the fall semester, including the labs. For the winter and spring semesters, the science classes will continue to be online. Of course, the science faculty continue every semester to look at different ways that they can change classes, make the experiences as beneficial as possible to students, but there won't be any major changes in how the science classes are offered here at Valley College in the winter and spring. They'll continue to be offered remotely, just as the science classes in the fall semester were offered remotely. Katrina asked a question about emergency grant and when will the funds go out. The funds have been going out, Katrina. If you haven't heard, and for anyone who applied for an emergency grant, if you haven't heard back, we have finished processing all the applications. So there might be a message that got caught in the spam filter. Please take a look as soon as possible. Any grants that were provided in the spring that were unclaimed, the money is going to be repurposed for other folks who have high needs. So please take a look as soon as possible at your email, and by all means, contact our financial aid department if you're not sure about the status of your request, and they'll be happy to provide you some additional information. But all their requests have been processed, and the money is available to students through the accounts that are set up for them. Again, a lot of times though, those messages might be caught in the spam filter in email, so it's important to take a look. You can also go to your the Student Information System portal for some more information. Another update for you all, question. I'm having open student office hours tomorrow afternoon, starting at noontime. So look for some information coming out to you from your email addresses, or to your email, sent to your email addresses about the open office hours and the Zoom link on how to access them. Taylor asked, are there any updates on coming back to campus? We are closely monitoring LA County Department of Public Health orders. Currently, there's no changes to the health orders on when we can come back to campus. Nonetheless, we are developing plans for a phased recovery. Those plans are already completed. LA County was close to moving to the red phase before Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, right about Thanksgiving, the number of COVID-19 cases in LA County increased significantly, as it did across California and the United States. So that was a bit of a setback in terms of us moving forward and having less restrictions so we can offer more classes on campus. Nonetheless, we do have the plans set. So when we move to the red tier, there's a few hard to convert classes and services that will look towards bringing back in person. We won't be immediately bringing large numbers of folks back at the red tier. It'll likely be just a few classes, similarly for the orange and yellow tiers for this phased recovery from LA County Department of Public Health. When there's enough immunization, when there's enough folks who have taken the vaccine that we can return to normal, and the LA County Department of Public Health has a return to normal order, then we'll be able to bring large numbers of folks back and have more of a return to normal operations. My hope is that that's not too long from now. I'm hoping that that we'll have that herd immunity so that we can return to normal in a short amount of time. And hopefully the spring semester will be one of the last semesters where we're still in this environment. But it's going to be largely dependent on how many people access the vaccine and how quickly we develop that herd immunity. I'm of course going to be one of the first in line to get the vaccine as soon as I can, as soon as it's available to the general public. Another question from Mohammed, our biomedical electronics classes will be open for the spring. Yes, we will have biomedical classes as well as electronics classes that are available to students and offered in the spring semester. Keep an eye on our website for updates on how to access those. They are through kind of different processes, the Biomedical Academy, and we also have an electronics program. So take a look for updates on our website and information through the departments on how to sign up for those classes. Registration is open in the spring for most of our classes. The Biomedical Academy is, the Biotech Academy is a little bit of a different process and timing, but for all other spring classes, most spring classes, registration is currently open, as is registration for the winter intersession, which begins January, I believe it's January 4th. So registration is currently open for both winter and for the spring semester. And let me see if there are any more updates. Not seeing any updates. I want to thank you all for joining me today. And as always, please let us know if there's anything that we can do to support you, to make your experiences as positive as possible, especially in this environment. If there's anything that you need, please never hesitate to let us know here at Valley College, and we'll do our very, very best to support you in every way that we possibly can. Thank you, everybody. Please continue to stay safe and be well, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks, everybody.